You're not her mother. You were just the surrogate. My sister said it with a smile on her face. We were standing under a white reception tent in the backyard of the Darien house I had helped them afford. Champagne glasses clinked. String lights glowed softly overhead. 100 guests moved around us in pastel dresses and tailored suits, and in her arms was the child I had carried beneath my ribs for 9 months. That single sentence cost her more than she understood. It cost her control of the narrative. It cost my parents the comfort of pretending we were still the kind of sisters who worked things out. And it cost me the last fragile illusion that if you gave enough love, eventually it would circle back. What nobody at that baptism reception knew, not Andrew's parents, not the women from her mom group, not our cousins from West Hartford, was that the trust fund created for that baby had a provision that required my signature. But to explain why that mattered, I need to go back. My name is Caroline Hayes. I'm 32 years old, and this is the story of how I carried my sister's daughter, and then had to learn how to walk away from my sister herself. 20 years ago, my mother nearly died. I was 12. Olivia was 14. 2 days before Christmas, my mother collapsed in our kitchen in West Hartford. A brain aneurysm. One moment she was wrapping presents, the next my father was kneeling on the tile floor screaming her name like volume alone could keep her here. She survived, but something about our family didn't. The surgery saved her body, but it took her strength. She became softer, slower, quieter. Conflict exhausted her. My father responded in the only way he knew how: control, schedules, finances. And somewhere in that tightening grip, he chose a favorite: Olivia. Favoritism never announces itself. It hides in patterns. Who gets believed first? Who gets defended faster? Who gets extra help? Olivia had private SAT tutors at 15. I was told, "You're resourceful. You'll manage." She got a brand new Jeep for her 17th birthday. I inherited Dad's old sedan and a warning not to damage it. My mom would squeeze my hand under the dinner table sometimes and whisper, "I see you." And I would nod. I always nodded. Olivia was golden in public. Cheer captain. Straight A student. Effortlessly charming. At home, she was different. Competitive in quiet, precise ways. If I got an A, she asked why it wasn't an A+. If a boy showed interest in me, she'd casually inform him that I was intense. Nothing overt. Nothing obvious. Just enough. When I got into Brown on early decision at 16, I screamed in the kitchen. My mother cried. My father hugged Olivia first. "Now you've got competition," he joked to her. She smiled. But something behind her eyes hardened. She went to NYU. I went to Brown. For the first time, I existed outside of comparison. I studied finance. Numbers were clean, predictable. They followed logic. People did not. After graduation, I joined a hedge fund in Manhattan. Brutal hours, excellent pay. I learned quickly that in finance, clarity wins over emotion. Olivia moved back to Connecticut. Marketing, polished social media, polished boyfriends. Then she met Andrew Whitmore. Old Greenwich family, car dealership empire across New England, generational wealth wrapped in navy blazers and quiet confidence. He adored her. They married in Newport at a cliffside estate that cost more than my annual salary at the time. At the reception near the bar, veil half-pinned and eyes shining, she grabbed my hand. "If I ever struggle to get pregnant," she said, voice low, "would you help me?" I laughed. "Help how?" She held my gaze longer than necessary. "I mean it. I'd do anything for you," I said. Be careful with that sentence. 2 years later, she called me at 2 a.m., 3 failed IVF cycles, 2 miscarriages, 1 embryo that never implanted. "I feel broken," she whispered. I flew to Connecticut that weekend. She looked smaller. The house in Darien, partly financed by Andrew's parents, felt pristine and empty. "There's another option," she said, sliding medical documents across the island counter. "Surrogacy. I don't want a stranger," she said quickly. "I want someone who loves this baby already." Then she said it. "I want you." I asked for a week. I researched Connecticut surrogacy law. I met with a reproductive attorney in Manhattan. I read stories that ended beautifully and others that fractured families. And then I said yes. Not because I felt heroic, because I understood fear. Fear of losing a marriage. Fear of not being enough. Contracts were drafted, a gestational carrier agreement, independent legal counsel for me, clear parental termination language. Andrew insisted on compensation. I refused most of it. "I won't be paid to carry my niece," I said. He insisted on covering expenses and funding a trust for the child in appreciation. I didn't focus on that detail at the time. The embryo transfer happened in New Haven that March. 2 weeks later, positive. Olivia cried in the clinic parking lot. Andrew looked like someone who'd been handed back oxygen. Pregnancy was harder than I expected. Morning sickness that lasted months. Back pain that felt structural. I temporarily relocated to Connecticut to reduce stress. I dialed into hedge fund meetings while growing my sister's child. At first, she was attentive. Ginger tea, ultrasounds, gratitude. Then something shifted. Around month 5, she stopped touching my stomach. If someone asked how I was feeling, she would answer for me. "She's just carrying," she'd say lightly. "The baby is ours. Just carrying." At a summer barbecue, one of Andrew's aunts said gently, "I don't know how you'll give her back." Olivia responded immediately, "It's not hers to give." I laughed it off. But the temperature changed. By month 8, the nursery was complete. Blush and gold, monogrammed blankets. I wasn't always invited to see it. During labor at Yale New Haven Hospital, 36 hours blurred into pain and fluorescent light. Emma Grace Whitmore entered the world just after dawn. They placed her on my chest briefly. Warm, fragile, real. Then Olivia took her, and I lay there empty in a way I had never known before. The birth announcement named Olivia and Andrew. We had agreed on privacy. I accepted that. But 6 months later at Emma's christening reception, when I admitted that being the aunt felt complicated, Olivia smiled tightly and said, "You're not her mother. You were just the surrogate. Not carrier. Not sister. Surrogate. Disposable terminology." And that was the moment something inside me crystallized. Because what she didn't know, what none of them knew, was that when Andrew insisted on funding that trust, my attorney had structured it carefully. The Whitmore Family Trust for Emma Grace, independent trustee, quarterly reporting, and a dual authorization requirement for significant withdrawals. Mine included. At the time, Olivia waved it off. "Of course you'd be involved," she'd said. Of course. Standing under that tent, I realized something simple. Narratives can be edited socially, contracts cannot. I toasted Emma quietly, smiled at the string lights, left before sunset, and I understood something had shifted irreversibly between my sister and me. Not anger, not revenge. Clarity. Cold, precise clarity. I didn't call her that night, didn't send a text. I lay in my Manhattan apartment staring at the ceiling fan turning lazily, hearing the word surrogate echo in my mind like it had been carved into my skull. The next morning, my phone buzzed. It was Olivia. I let it ring twice before picking up. "Hey," she said too brightly. "About yesterday?" "Yes." "I think you misinterpreted what I said." I waited. "I just meant legally," she continued, "to avoid confusion." "Confusion?" "I wasn't confused," I said quietly. A pause. "Then, Caroline, you have to understand how this looks to people. It's unusual. If you imply—" "I didn't imply anything," I cut in. "You said it was complicated." "It is." Silence stretched between us. "I need you to be careful," she said finally. "For Emma's sake." "For Emma's sake." "I have been careful," I replied, "for 9 months." No answer. Then she shifted topics. Andrew's parents were asking questions. They're traditional. They don't need gray areas. Gray areas. "I'm not a gray area," I said evenly. She sighed like she did when I beat her at something as a kid. "Can we not do this?" "We," as if I started it. "I'm not doing anything," I said. "I showed up, that's all." She ended the call, citing Emma's fussiness. I sat at my table with cold coffee and realized the truth. Olivia didn't just want the baby. She wanted the narrative. And in her narrative, I was expendable. Over the next months, distance grew quietly. Invitations slowed. Photos posted online cropped me out. Subtle erasure. At Emma's first birthday, Olivia introduced me as my sister who helped us out. Helped us out. Like I assembled IKEA furniture. I bent down and handed Emma a small silver bracelet. She grabbed my finger and wouldn't let go. Olivia laughed. "She just likes shiny things." "Not you. Shiny things." That night, I opened the folder from my attorney, the Whitmore Family Trust, funded at birth, sufficient to cover private school, college, and more, administered independently. Co-signature required for major disbursements. At first, it felt like overkill. Now it felt like foresight. I scheduled a meeting with Margaret Chen, my attorney. Her minimalist office overlooked Bryant Park. "You look tired," she observed. "I feel edited," I said. She tilted her head. "Tell me." I recounted the christening, the distancing, the word surrogate, the creeping erasure. Margaret nodded slowly. Legally, you have no parental rights. That was clear in the contract. I know, but the trust is separate, structured as a gift to Emma, with you as co-trust protector until she turns 18. Protector, I repeated. Yes, gives oversight if the trustee suspects mismanagement. Misuse, I echoed. Has there been any? No. Then this isn't about money. No, I admitted. It's about disappearing. Margaret leaned back. Extraordinary acts don't guarantee gratitude, especially in families. I swallowed. Olivia is rewriting my role socially. Trust exists for Emma, not validation. If her financial future is jeopardized, you intervene. That's not emotional. That's fiduciary. Fiduciary. Solid, predictable, unlike everything else. Life continued quietly. Emma turned 2, then 3. I saw her regularly. Brunches, holidays, occasional babysitting. When she scraped her knee, she ran to me. She knows I'm soft, Olivia whispered. Soft, not steady, not reliable. Andrew stayed polite, distant. Expensive wine at Christmas. Public thanks. Vague. At 4, a shift. Andrew's business faced litigation. Stress seeped in. Olivia called me alone, exhausted. Andrew's dad wants liquidity, just to stabilize cash. Nothing major. I felt cold slide down my spine. And there's money in Emma's trust. It's invested, I said. Temporarily, she said quickly. We'd return it. Olivia, that's not how trusts work. Don't go corporate on me, she replied. The trust protects Emma, not your cash flow. Her jaw tightened. You think you only did this for leverage? I did it because you asked me to carry your child. I said, you remind me of it every chance you get. I have never brought it up, I shot back. You don't have to, it's always there. She left after that, and I let it be. A week later, I confirmed to the trustee that no extraordinary disbursement would be authorized. Someone had inquired Andrew without including me. Trustee flagged it. I responded in writing, no consent. Then my father called. I hear you're being difficult, he said. Difficult. About Andrew's business. Family supports family. Is that what we call it? You've always been strong, he said softly. You don't need recognition. This isn't recognition. It's boundaries. You're damaging your relationship with your sister over money? I'm protecting my niece. You're not her mother, he repeated, echoing Olivia's words. I know, I said quietly. You've all made that clear. Something inside me settled. Not anger. Decision. Clarity. Olivia didn't speak for 3 weeks. Then Emma fell ill. Pneumonia. Hospitalized. I went immediately. She ran to me. Caroline, Olivia scowled. After Emma slept, Olivia stepped into the hall. You don't get to swoop in like a hero. I'm here because she's sick. She needs consistency. I've always been consistent. You show up for moments that make you feel important. I labored 36 hours for her. Never asked for credit. That's the problem, she muttered. Emma recovered. Life resumed. Invitations dwindled. Photos continued without me. Then came preschool Family Heritage Day. Emma said during circle time she called me tummy mommy. Olivia demanded, why is she saying that? Because it's true, I said. Truth is what we decide it is, she snapped. A formal letter followed. Their attorney requested my co-signatory authority be removed, citing potential conflicts and destabilizing influence. I met with Margaret again. They have no grounds. You acted within fiduciary duty. They're trying to erase me legally now, I whispered. Yes, she said. They are. It was clear then this wasn't about money, not about business, not even about motherhood. It was about narrative. Control. A clean story. Miracle baby, perfect marriage, traditional family, and I was the complication. You can crop photos, coach language, send legal letters, but you cannot undo biology, contracts, or memory. And if she escalated, we'd have a formal conversation. Legal, not sibling. For the first time, I felt steady in a room where I knew exactly how to stand.